God's guiding you and leading you because you opened your heart and mind to Him. They're going to be more productive. Secondly, He repairs the damage. That is, let's say you've had one of those days and you come home and you think, I can't handle any more of this. And what happens? Time of solitude drains all of that out. And this idea of I can't and he won't, they will, no. Just give him time. It's like sometimes he squeezes it out of us. It's like sometimes he pulls the drain and it just pours out. And what happens is we're free and we're liberated. And that's the benefit of just being alone with him. Listen, God's not uptight. There's not anything about us he can't fix.
Yes, sir.
And he will fix it if we give him time. So what it just refuels us emotionally. Listen to me carefully. He'll meet you anywhere you're willing to meet him.
Yes, sir.
A third thing is that solitude equips us to face the tough days.
Yeah.
All of us are going to have them. All of us are going to have trials. All of us are going to have heartaches and burdens and things we have to deal with. And solitude, what it does, it equips us to face them confidently and assuredly without getting all nervous and upset and frantic and thinking, God, oh, what's going to happen? It'll make a difference in your health, make a difference in your relationships to other people. You're going to have a sense of peace and joy and confidence in your heart that no matter what comes your way, when you get along with him, he stills your heart, quietens your spirit, and makes you an overcomer no matter what you're facing in life. There isn't anything else that can give me all of that but time alone with him. And I would simply ask you this. Do you want God's best? This is the avenue. Do you want life's best? This is the avenue. Do you want peace in the midst of storms and quietness and joy when turmoil is all around you? This is the answer.
So every day we should start and kind of look over the day and say, Lord God, I'm going to be here today and here today and here today. And I pray for your strength to be the person of God I should be. Help me to bring the influence of Jesus into this situation. Or I'm headed to the doctor today. Lord, I don't know what the news is going to be, but I know you're sufficient, and I pray for strength. You pray proactively. Don't pray after it happens. Pray before it happens. Amen?
Really, it's important every morning. You should start the day off in peace, not stressed, hurried, rushing around. Look at the sunrise. Listen to the birds singing. Breathe in God's goodness. Thank him for his blessings in your life. Hebrews talks about entering into the rest of God. That means you have a problem, but you're not losing sleep over it.
Exactly.
You know God
Yes.
is still in control.
Yes,
This
Lord.
is one of the main ways we show God we're trusting him, by staying in peace. Not up when your circumstances are up, down when they're down. You're stable, you're consistent, you're in the rest of God. Jesus put it this way: don't worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will have enough worries of its own. God has given you grace for today. You don't have grace for tomorrow. Don't try to figure out the next 5 years, play out all the what ifs. The what ifs will depress you. The truth is, if a what if does come to pass, God will give you the grace to handle it. What if the report's not good? What if my loved one doesn't make it? What if I do get laid off, Joel? Then the peace that passes understanding will be right there waiting for you.
Right.
God promises he will arm you with strength for every battle. We may not know what the future holds, but we do know who holds the future. Now,
Yes, Lord.
don't miss today worried about tomorrow. Today is a gift. We can never get this day back.
Right there.
And sure, we should plan, we should use common sense, but at some point, you have to turn it over to God and say, God, you know what's best for me. You said you'd give me grace for every season. Just like you clothe the lily of the fields, just like you feed the birds of the air, I know you will take care of me.
Yes.
It's very freeing when you learn to turn things over to God.
Where do your thoughts live? Where are you living? I'll tell you, there's only 3 possibilities. You're either living in the past, you're living in the future, or you're living in the present. Jesus said, therefore, do not worry about tomorrow. For tomorrow will worry about its own things. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. Think about it. The past exists only as mere memory. The future exists only in the imagination. Only the present exists in true reality. So why do we ruin the only moment of existence we have by pulling trouble from
non-existent places
like the past and the future? Here's what happens. When you borrow trouble from the future, now you've got double trouble. If you live in the past and you live in the future, you're allowing two thieves to rob your life. But if you live in the present, the Bible says that God is sufficient for every day. There's a wonderful verse in Deuteronomy 33:25.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.
As your days, so shall your strength be. I love that verse. That means, Lord, I don't know what's going to happen on Wednesday or Thursday. I got this.
Hey, what's up? About to get right. Finish making it money. Hold on real quick. We good. Back to work I go. Alright, first things first. Music. bensound.com. Oh, they got me logged in now too. Hold on, y'all, give me 1 second. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's run it. Alright, so I got 39,000 left to go. Is my calculator still open? Alright, yep. I got 60,000. So I got 39,000 left to go. Considering how much I made yesterday, I don't think it's gonna be that hard. I can get at least 20 bands today. 20 bands. Let's go. I was told yesterday that I could finish this today. Well, I could have finished it yesterday. Or at least sooner than right now. If I'd have just kept going. So I'm gonna put in that work right now. let's go. Trying to make sure I don't miss no chats today. Apparently I was missing them all over the place. I'm gonna post it in there, how much we got left. Hold on, 39,000, 312 left. So 100K. There we go. All right, let's get right. Let's see what's going on in here. I wonder how many pizzas this server done did. I'm gonna just start here. So we had 3,000 pizzas. All right. Yesterday it was at that's funny, 888. Yeah, yesterday. Hey, universe in here. What's good? Let's see who on. See if any of my people on. Hey, universe already in here. Them the only two on. Hey, they're my people. Let's work, y'all. Let's see. And they stocked up on supplies. That's what I like to see. All right. Let's take some orders then. Every time I hear that sizzling sound, I think it's hey, that's right. Appreciate it, appreciate that. See what else we got going on back here. Let me get my pizza slicer. Hey, there go my song. Let me get me a car and let's ride, y'all. We working now. Let's go. Follow the trees until we reach the train tracks. Hey, give it to you know, do it till you know what you have to show. If it's just for show, right? Anybody who's anybody anyway. Follow the trees until we reach the train tracks. How did I pass before? What you have to show, is it just for show? That was a fun.
bensound.com. bensound.com.
Open my present.
bensound.com.
A bathroom trash can. I'll keep it. Boom, dum, boom, 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 boom. Dun, dun, dun.
bensound.com. 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 bensound.com.
Hey, 3,000 pieces.
bensound.com.
I wonder what it'll be at by the end of the day. Man, this music's so peaceful right now.
bensound.com.
600 check. That's what I like.
bensound.com.
Drive through be slow.
bensound.com.
I got a feeling my man's gonna need some help in the back.
bensound.com. 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 bensound.com.
When that double time hit, we're gonna have to be ready.
bensound.com. bensound.com. bensound.com.
Hey, $781 or coins. That's right. Late night pizzas. Yeah. there go my other car. I love seeing my cars around town. Somebody took the supply truck home. He took the supply truck home. That's my guy. That's what's up. That's why I be parking my cars back here. Cause they gonna disappear. They gonna be gone by the time I come back. Looks like you need a little help. Oh, they brought my car back. You know what? You're right. I'm gonna take a new car. Telling you, when that double, I just said it. I was just about to say it. When that double time hit, let's go, team. Alright, let's go. B2. I'm glad I picked them pizzas up when I did too. Big check. What? Yeah, it worked out. My car is somewhere around there. Yeah, it's over there. I gotta buy the hang glider in my garage. Let's go hard body. Yeah, I got all them pizzas gone. Yes, sir. That was good work right there. $700 check. Now, if anybody else is on deliveries, then we made some money. I wonder if my other car back here still. If it is, I'll leave this one up there. Nope. That's 848. That's what I need. I need them big checks. Hey, more pizzas. That's right. They stay stealing my cars from back there. he stole my car. That's so funny. Alright, let me take these pizzas. Yes, that's good money. Yeah, I'm gonna take my old car back. I'm gonna try to start parking right in front of the driveway so I can walk right back to the car. Oh, B1 still had more too. He got my car. Dang, they taking my pizzas. Almost. Everybody on break. Dang, they just took all of my last pizzas. I'm already about to be at 65 G's. What is this? My money back. I need to go get some supplies. Anybody anyway. Follow the trees until we reach the train tracks. Oh, do it till you know, do it till you know what you have to show. Who's anybody? Who's anybody anyway? Never thought we could map. I'm like, follow the trees until we reach the train tracks. Somebody gotta come get up here on cashier. I'm about to go over the supply. Look at this, ain't nobody working. See what we got going on in here. Alright, we're gonna stack up some dough. Hey, that's right, 100 off of one pizza. Boxes and cheese. Alright, that should be good. Go ahead and get me a truck in here. I don't know what bro got going on with the truck back there, but alright, cheese and soda. catch me a little ride back into town, back into work with my guy right here. Double time, let's go. I cleared that whole screen. Let's go. If they got those yes, we got like 4 people delivering. If they got all them pizzas out, then we should be in good shape. Cause I just cleared the whole screen. Look at that. $800. Let's go. What? Just... I'm working hard. That's proof that I'm working hard right there. I'm gonna clip that. That's proof. And they took some of my pay. And they took some of my pay for that. I don't know what that was.
Bensound.com. 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 Bensound.com.
trolls.
bensound.com.
They have more fun messing with you playing the game than they do playing the game, so that's cool with me. I already done been playing for an hour and a half anyway. I gotta get the kids up for church too. He looking for me. Hey, my money went up. He looking for me. Oh, I should do my recalculation. So in just that 1.5 hours, I almost made it to 65K. So let's see where we at. I was at 39,312 left before. Let's see where we at now. Minus 64,690. I don't know if you can see it behind the logo. Yeah, you can't see it behind the logo. Let me take my live branding off. Yeah, my money is up there in the right hand corner. Alright, let me finish this. 64,690 equal 35. 35,000. I just made 4,000 in that little bit of time. I gotta make 10K a day, at least. He can't find nobody to mess with. Mom, I got them. I got them. All right, y'all. I'll be back in a little bit.
It's an ongoing process of alignment. The moment a new paradigm takes hold, reality begins to reflect it. Financial freedom, fulfilling relationships, and personal success emerge naturally, not because circumstances changed first, but because the mindset changed.
accepted knowledge about something. It's just the perspective we take in discussing something.
I sold
The
'cause I
idea
hosted my
that
show.
the universe was started at the Big Bang. That is our current paradigm for when the universe started. Now, if we find out some new knowledge about that, we do some new research, we find out new great facts, we may have a paradigm shift
Right.
where we change our accepted knowledge into something new. My favorite example of this is Pluto, the planet Pluto. It used to be a planet. That was the paradigm. Pluto's the planet. It's the last one in the line, right? Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. But then about 20 years ago, I think, at this point, they voted Pluto out. What's up with that? There was a paradigm shift. Pluto is no longer a planet. Now, that has to do with that it's like this planetary body, and they found like dozens of others, and they realized they would have to name all these others, and it would get really complicated, and it's not really honest to what a planet truly is. So that's a really great example of how this works, right? Although, how many Pluto fans are there out there? I am one. Bring Pluto back. But
Say bring Pluto
right,
back.
If we're following the current ideas on things, it just doesn't make sense. So Pluto was a planet. That's the old paradigm. Paradigm shift. New paradigm. Pluto's not a planet.
Okay.
Depressing, but fair.
Hold on. Let me see this.
This week in archaeology, the Ark of the Covenant has been found. Huh?
I'm about to watch this.
Check that
Hey,
out.
I gotta see
Yeah.
this. There's
And
no way.
we've known about this since 1988.
There's no way.
Yeah. And you're like, King Philip,
What?
And I'm like,
Yes.
Yes. The CIA found the Ark of the Covenant in 1988, and the documents have been declassified since 2000. Man, it's time for us to look at some of these declassified documents. Here's the deal. In the late 80s,
Let me turn this
waning
up.
days of the Reagan administration, the CIA ran Project Sunstreak, where they got a bunch
Y'all
of
been hearing
psychics
video
together
game time.
to try and use their psychic
shit.
abilities to have an edge on our enemies. And they
Hold
would do
on,
these
y'all.
tests. And
Tell
one-
me next time. Tell me if y'all hear like the PlayStation audio in the back or any audio or the sound is off. I be hating when I do that. Sorry about that if it's been playing in the background.
test that a person that is only referred to as viewer 30 to have an edge on our
Let me go back
enemies.
for a second.
Reagan administration, the CIA ran Project Sunstreak, where they got a bunch of psychics together to try and use their psychic abilities to have an edge on our enemies. And they would do these tests, and one test that a person that is only referred to as viewer 32, this he or she person was asked to target on the Ark of the Covenant, and it worked. They asked, where is the Ark of the Covenant? Target on this. And they were like,
And they were like,
I see it in the Middle East. Yes, go on. It's in a dark place, like a cave. It's definitely wet there. Yes, I hear people
where
speaking
you going with
Arabic.
this?
I see mosques. I see other people around this ark. Can we open the ark? No. It's protected by mystical forces. And as viewer 32 was talking, viewer 32 drew some stuff down to these little stick figure drawings of some ominous people. You can look these up online. They really kick ass. Very X-Filesy. And in fact, I don't even know if I should tell you
Say
this.
it.
Viewer 32 drew a little circular amulet, which looked exactly like the amulet in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
Now, the coincidence there
So
is
what did they
shocking.
do with it
I will
afterwards?
say that this interview took place in 1988, 7 years after Raiders of the Lost Ark came out. So there is that, but that doesn't matter. What I can tell you, though, underneath it all, of this fascinating discovery, is viewer 32 has definitely seen Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I can tell you one more thing, friends. If you're looking for government waste,
Project Sunstreak.
My man's okay.
Watch this fridge
I got
test
all
for
of that.
fake.
All right, y'all. So look, we're gonna bring it home now today. That was actually pretty interesting. So, as we do here on Expansion Pack, we find our roots so we can grow. Now, today we was just looking at, let me see, let me make sure I got the title exactly accurate. Today we was just looking at establishing a future. So, in the line of tech, in the way that the world is going, stuff is getting better. Well, what is the best? Does the best look like we never have to drive ourselves nowhere? Does the best look like if you needed to call somebody, all you needed to do was think about it and it would, and you could do it? Does the best look like our house is 3D printed? I don't know. Also, what do you think life looks like now? All you doing is filling up your little paradigm until it's too full. You're going to throw it out, drop that cinder block on it, like my man's in the video, and get a new one. So, with all of that being said, I think I still got another 10 minutes on this thing right here. So we're going to get some wisdom and some quotes about paradigms, and we're going to call it a day. Hold on, I got to go back in this thing. All right, paradigm shift quotes. Let's go. Let's rock it, nigga. Let's rock it. I don't need nothing short. This looks like it's good enough.
The greatest weapon against stress is our ability to choose one thought over another. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. Believe that life is worth living, and your belief will help create the fact. The art of being wise is the art of knowing what to overlook. The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be. The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. To change one's life, start immediately, do it flamboyantly. No exceptions. The world is all the richer for having a devil in it. So long as we keep our foot upon his neck, we are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface, but connected in the deep. The first lives by altering it, do it flamboyantly. No exceptions. The world is all the richer for having a devil in it. So long as we keep our foot upon his neck, we are like islands in the sea, separate on the surface, but connected in the deep. The first act of freedom is to recognize the necessity of morality. The art of being happy lies in the power of extracting happiness from common things. The best use of life is to spend it for something that outlasts it. The best use of life is to spend it for something that outlasts it. Man can alter his life by altering his thinking. The essence of genius is to know what to overlook. The world we see that seems so insane is the result of a belief system that is not working. The stream of thought flows on, but most of its segments fall into the bottomless abyss of oblivion. A great many people think they are thinking when they are merely rearranging their prejudices. There is no worse lie than a truth misunderstood by those who hear it. The greatest use of life is to spend it on something that will outlast it. Wisdom is learning what to overlook. Seek out that particular mental attitude which makes you feel most deeply and vitally alive, along with which comes the inner voice which says, "This is the real me." And when you have found that attitude, follow it.
Yes, sir. Hold on, let's get one more real quick. We'll dip out on this.
Look, you're not actually going to get anything done by watching another YouTube video. In fact, you're literally only
Neville Goddard quote. In this video, I'm going to read 25 Neville Goddard quotes that will cause a paradigm shift in your thinking. Listening to these quotes is a great way to begin reprogramming your mind to believe in the power of your imagination and its ability to completely transform your life. Do not bow down before the dictate of facts and accept life on the basis of the world without. Assert the supremacy of your imaginal acts over facts, and put all things in subjection to them. Hold fast to your ideal in your imagination. Nothing can take it from you but your failure to persist in imagining the ideal realized. Imagine only such states that are of value or promise well. Whenever one state grows so stable as to become your constant mood, your habitual attitude, then that habitual state defines your character and is a true transformation.
Yes, ma'am.
Commit yourself to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, in faith that this act of self-commission will become a reality. And it must become a reality because imagining creates reality. Through spiritual sensation, that is, through imaginal sight, sound, scent, taste, and touch, you can give to the image sensory vividness. If you do this, all things will conspire to aid your harvesting, and upon reflection you will see how subtle were the threads that led to your goal.
Right.
You could never have devised the means which your imaginal activity employed to fulfill itself.
Right.
Like the make-believe of a child who is remaking the world after its own heart, create your world out of pure dreams of fancy. Mentally enter into your dream. Mentally do what you would actually do were it physically true. You will discover that dreams are realized not by the rich, but by the imaginative. Nothing stands between you and the fulfillment of your dreams but facts, and facts are the creation of imagining. If you change your imagining, you will change the facts. Man, through the medium of a controlled waking dream, can predetermine his future. That imaginal activity of living in the wish fulfilled leads man across a bridge of incident to the fulfillment of the dream. If we live in the dream, thinking from it and not of it, then the creative power of imagining will answer our adventurous fancy, and the wish fulfilled will break in upon us and take us unawares. When man finally identifies himself with his imagination rather than his senses, he has at long last discovered the core of reality. Observe your imaginal activities. Imagine better than the best you know, and create a better world for yourself and others. Imagining creates reality. What it makes, it can unmake. Our future is our imaginal activity in its creative march. Imagine better than the best you know. Man should daily relive the day as he wished he had lived it, revising the scenes to make them conform to his ideals. The mood of the wish fulfilled is the high tide which lifts us easily off the bar of the senses where we usually lie stranded.
All right, guys.
If we are aware of the mood and know this secret of imagining, we may announce that all that our mood affirms will come to pass.
The mood of the wish fulfilled is the high tide which lifts us easily off. Lifts us easily of the bar of the senses, off the bar of the senses where we usually lie stranded. If we are aware of the mood and know this secret of imagining, we may announce that all our mood affirms will come to pass. All right, y'all, we out of here for the day. This has been another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man, here on DGTA TV. Tech Tuesdays about to be up out of here. Stick around, for a little bit more of a previous episode, but really we done here for the day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow on Find Your Way Wednesday. Make sure you follow DGTA TV, DGTA_TV on Twitch, and then you can go on YouTube and type that same name in. Links everywhere. I'm gonna be out of here in about 2 seconds. I'm Dan F. Man. Peace. This is DGTA TV.
Do that thing, you start to see yourself doing more of that thing. You start to visualize that achieving it isn't as difficult as you may have once thought. You start to see micro improvements in the micro steps helping you get closer to your actual goal. All of these things
What about hard work versus resourcefulness? Or ambition versus loyalty? Would you prefer others to be more open-minded or more traditional? What about community versus self-interest or freedom versus loyalty? Knowing what ideas, virtues, or principles you value the most is crucial for not only your understanding more about who you are as a person, but also what you want from your relationships. Your core values are the ideas you want to uphold, and they give your life meaning and direction when you need to make a difficult decision or when stuck in times of strife. Number 3, how you respond to stress. Are you calm under pressure or panicky and anxious? Do you usually run away from conflict or face it head on? Knowing your go-to stress response is key to succeeding in difficult and demanding situations. Responding to stress in an unhealthy way, like denying all of your problems or procrastinating until the very last minute, holds you back from achieving your goals by trapping you in a dysfunctional pattern of behavior. When you're more aware of how you react in a stressful situation, you're better able to manage your anxiety, avoid the pitfalls of these unhealthy coping mechanisms, and stay resilient even amidst emotional distress. Number 4, your physical health. When you take care of your body, you make it easier for yourself to manage stress and fight against the symptoms of anxiety, depression, and fatigue. So, it's important that you know what illnesses and medical conditions you may have and treat them as soon as possible to avoid further complications. For example, when left untreated, hyperthyroidism can actually lead to developing depression. So, the more you know about your physical health, the better off you'll be mentally and emotionally. Number 5, your personality type. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? What's your MBTI type? Enneagram type? How do you rank in terms of the big 5 personality factors? Now, you might not even begin to know how to answer these questions, but taking a personality test is actually one of the easiest and most insightful ways you can get to know yourself better. Knowing your personality type can give you a deeper understanding of all the things that make you who you are and why you are the way that you are. It's a simple, fun, and interesting way to learn new things about yourself. Number 6, your strengths.
There we go.
The sooner you learn what you excel at, the sooner you can start honing these skills and realizing your full potential. Are you good at cooking or dancing? Do you have a nice singing voice or a talent for writing? Do you easily finish puzzles and riddles? Or are you more interested in debate and public speaking? Are you a people person, a natural-born leader, a gifted athlete? The truth is, until you put yourself out there and give it a try, you'll never know. Number 7, your weaknesses. Just as it's important to know where your strengths lie, it's also important for you to be aware of your own faults, flaws, and limitations. Of course, even though we all know that nobody is perfect, it's not always easy to admit to yourself what your weaknesses are. But having some insight into the things you struggle with and why can give you a clearer understanding of all the ways you could be holding yourself back. Are you trying to force
effectively lead yourself and lead others, then you need to be aware of what those values are. But first, what do we mean by value? Well, value denotes a degree of importance. In monetary terms, we set a value on something by how much we're willing to pay for a product or service. In moral terms, a value is an ideal that we give a high degree of importance to. Values are the moral code that guide us and the priorities that motivate according to other people's principles and priorities.
Exactly.
So how do you assess your core values? You can do an assessment of your own values by examining different aspects of your life and for looking at trends. In my experience, it's good to start with examining our personal stories, our priorities, passions, and principles. So let's look at each of those in turn. Personal stories. One of the most instructive ways you can examine your character and values is by looking at the stories in your life. Have a think about, when have you been most happy? Which achievement or experience are you most proud of? What has been your biggest success? What has been your biggest failure? What do you fear most? Which thing in your past are you most ashamed of? When reflecting on a personal story, you can analyse further by asking, what was the situation? What role did you have to play and what did you do? And then what was the underlying principle that made this a good or bad experience? Next, let's look at priorities. We've already seen that values and priorities are linked. One simple and effective way to examine our priorities is to see how we use our resources. Simply put, We invest our time and money in what we value. So for money, think about, where does your cash go? Money provides a very tangible expression of what we prioritise. Have a look at your bank account and credit card bills and examine where your money goes. What do you choose to spend more or less on? Time is a truly finite resource. How you spend your time will give you a good indication of what you really value. Take a look at your diary or think back and work out the amount of time that goes to various activities each day and each week. Next, we look at passions. Our passions are the things that drive us emotionally. Our passions either draw us towards or away from something or someone. Often we don't realise these thoughts and they go unnoticed.
And look, that's the good information that you need in your life.
But if you reflect on your thoughts and your dreams, beliefs and influences, then you'll gain a deeper understanding.
Oh snap, I didn't even mean to have that up. Hey, welcome to another episode of Expansion Pack. Hold on, let me flip this up. Yeah, as you can see, I've been working all weekend. Let me get this scene right. I was watching Streamer U all weekend. I don't know about y'all, but I thoroughly enjoyed myself. I wish I had like a drop, round of applause drop to run on y'all for that. I'd be like, drop the bombs, all that good stuff. Hey, y'all too. Do y'all remember what Hey, don't be rude about it then. Oh, all right, I got it. Y'all stop being rude to one another. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna be right back. Almost done with my break.
Hi, I'm Phil.
And I'm Celeste.
And we are Retire on 2K, exploring our options.
You know, last time we spoke, I was engaged. I'm like, yeah. Okay, so he's like, yeah, we got married, had a couple kids. Now I'm divorced, and I met him at a bar, and he's like, now...
Actually talking.
Recommendation.
Ooh, this look good. Alright.
You were born to be spectacular. So I need you to jump over the obstacles. I need you to go around the pit.
See, in our lives and in our world, for women. And it ain't just for women, it's for everybody, but still. Scroll down, scroll down.
With our so-called our own minds,
I want to hear this.
We're far more than our own minds, and whatever awareness arises.
Hear this.
What's come from
The island from the continent that looked okay to them at low tide. They were rescued by a truck driver. Hey, technology is great when it works. So, do you use GPS services a lot?
All the time. Exactly.
Or do you think you could survive without them? Let me know down in the comments.
Look at me up there.
If you learned something new today, then give this video a like and share it with a friend. But
look at me up there. All right, now let me bring this up. Look, y'all. This is funny. Because now you know how to find yourself physically and where you at physically. I found myself physically. Let's see what my man said. Let's explore something for fun. I heard of Eckhart Tolle.
I love you. So in talking about thinking, I know this has an obvious answer, and I'm actually asking beyond this. But where do our thoughts come from? You know, so oftentimes I'll have thoughts and I recognize them as even not my own, or possibly patterns that have existed for years and years. You know, jealousy thoughts or competitive thoughts or the thoughts of being threatened and fear. But truthfully, is this something is waking us up in the middle of the night that you were just talking about? What is that? Right. Is it just part of the condition of being alive?
Thank you.
Let's see what he said.
The Buddha was asked a similar question. I'll tell you what he said, but then I will answer it because he didn't.
Thank you.
Somebody asked him a question like that, and he gave a parable. He said, somebody shot you with an arrow, you've got an arrow stuck in your body, and before you remove it, you're trying to find out, where did that arrow come from? Before I remove it, I need to know who shot it and why and where
I get where he going with this.
it came from. Let's examine this in more detail. And that was his answer. What he was saying was, our main concern should be to remove the arrow instead of trying to find out where it all started. How did it all start? Where did it all originate? That was his teaching was very practical, totally practical. Not all of Buddhism is that practical anymore. Some of
Didn't I think
still
I paused
remains
and said
practical
something.
compared to other traditions. But in the very
But that's
beginning
funny.
of
He said, instead of us, and I said this on the show too, he said instead of us trying to find out where the arrow came from and digging in deep on that, to get the damn arrow out. What that means is if you got some sort of stress and trauma in your life, if finding out where it comes from helps to stop it, then do that. If it don't, then you gotta go ahead and just move on and find out what does do that for you. All right, moving right along. Let's see what else we got. I want to go into the other playlist. I think I was born. Let me see. Knowledge of expansion.
You need to see this if you suffer from a pinched nerve in the neck.
I'm gonna get short ones.
How do you work out your personal values? Values are like a compass that guide us and help us to make our decisions. They are the principles and beliefs by which we live our lives. So if you want to effectively lead yourself and lead others, then you need to be aware of what those values are. But first, what do we mean by value? Well, value denotes a degree of importance. In monetary terms, we set a value on something by how much we're willing to pay for a product or service. In moral terms, a value is an ideal that we give a high degree of importance to. Values are the moral code that guide us and the priorities that motivate us. If you do not know what your values are, then it's very likely that you are living your life, whether you know it or not, according to other people's principles and priorities.
Exactly.
So how do you assess your core values? You can do an assessment of your own values by examining different aspects of your life and for looking at trends. In my experience, it's good to start with examining our personal stories, our priorities, passions, and principles. So let's look at each of those in turn. Personal stories. One of the most instructive ways you can examine your character and values is by looking at the stories in your life. Have a think about, when have you been most happy? Which achievement or experience are you most proud of? What has been your biggest success? What has been your biggest failure? What do you fear most? Which thing in your past are you most ashamed of? When reflecting on a personal story, you can analyse further by asking, what was the situation? What role did you have to play and what did you do? And then what was the underlying principle that made this a good or bad experience? Next, let's look at priorities. We've already seen that values and priorities are linked. One simple and effective way to examine our priorities is to see how we use our resources. Simply put, we invest our time and money in what we value. So for money, think about, where does your cash go? Money provides a very tangible expression of what we prioritise. Have a look at your bank account and credit card bills and examine where your money goes. What do you choose to spend more or less on? Time is a truly finite resource. How you spend your time will give you a good indication of what you really value. Take a look at your diary or think back and work out the amount of time that goes to various activities each day and each week. Next, we look at passions. Our passions are the things that drive us emotionally. Our passions either draw us towards or away from something or someone. Often we don't realise these thoughts and they go unnoticed.
And look, that's the good information that you need in your life.
But if you reflect on your thoughts and your dreams, beliefs and influences, then you'll gain a deeper understanding of your passions. So think about, what are you hoping to achieve in life? When you daydream, what is it about?
Right.
Imagine that you could have one wish that could be immediately fulfilled. What would it be?
Now let's go to another one.
Tired of typing tons of notes during class? There's finally a better way. It's called Otter.
Rapid tissue regeneration. So, you're chopping vegetables for dinner and accidentally nick your finger. But instead of reaching for a Band-Aid, you watch in amazement as the cut closes up faster than you can say, "What the hell?" Well, this is because you have rapid tissue regeneration, which is like having Wolverine's healing factor, minus the adamantium claws and brooding personality. The body can repair or replace damaged tissues at an accelerated rate. It's as if your cells decided to take a crash course in speed healing and graduated with flying colors. In nature, we see some pretty impressive examples of regeneration, like the axolotl, a little salamander that can regrow entire limbs like it's no big deal. So you're basically the lizard equivalent of saying, "Oh, I lost an arm? No worries, I'll just grow a new one, bub." While humans can't regrow limbs yet, we do have some pretty impressive healing abilities. Our liver, for example, can regenerate itself even if up to 75% of it is removed. Hypermobility.
It's been 6 weeks since you went on America's Got Talent to show off your skills. And while you didn't win the prize or anything, you gathered a massive following on YouTube because of your insanely amazing ability to twist and bend your joints and bones as if they were made out of jelly. This weird condition happens because you have hypermobility, which means you are the human equivalent of a rubber band. You can even stretch to points that would break a rubber band. You're like the real-life Elastic Girl, minus the beautiful bodysuit. If you have hypermobility, it would mean that your ligaments and tendons are like overcooked spaghetti, floppy and loose, and they can literally turn like a Ferris wheel. You'd be able to do things regular people can't do with their bodies, like touch your nose with your toes, or bend your thumb back to touch your wrist or your elbow. Now, this might sound like the dream superpower of every ballerina, gymnast, or yoga instructor, but hypermobility can be a double-edged sword. You'd be prone to constant muscle and joint dislocation because you're basically spending your whole day twisting and turning your bones like jelly. Insensitivity to temperature. It's a scorching 40 degrees outside, and everyone is outside with their tank tops and bottles of water complaining of a heat wave. Yet you're casually strolling around in long sleeves with a thick hooded sweater and joggers. Crazy enough, you're not sweating at all, and even though people are looking at you crazily, you literally cannot feel the heat they keep talking about. Unknown to you, you have a congenital insensitivity to temperature. It's a rare condition where your body's thermostat decides to quit its job and go on an eternal vacation, making your body forget the difference between hot and cold. You could literally be. Imagine you're going down the street, minding your business, when suddenly your nose goes into overdrive. It's like your nose got a superpower upgrade, and suddenly you've gone from an ordinary. Midterm tests are coming up, and while everyone in the class is stressing about studying and all, you are busy sleeping, playing on your phone, and watching TikTok videos of cats. The reason why you're so chill is because you literally have a superpower and can know every single sentence and word in your huge biology textbook within 24 hours. This is because you have literally and decided to become the world's most detailed walking, talking scrapbook. The minute you lay your eyes on something, your brain would go click, and just like that, it's saved in your memory forever.
All right, so what we doing right now, we just looking at some of the videos that I had on here that we done watched throughout the time of me hosting this show. Let's get another one in here. That one was about like superpowers or whatever. Let's get another one. What is the definition of health? Okay. Hey, y'all might like this one, the flow state. Let's see. Nah, I can't watch Ted Ed. I don't want to watch Ted Ed. Let's get one fun then. Oh my gosh!
Second half. Third quarter.
Oh no, that one. That's why I saved this. That's why I saved this, because my man's hitting the backboard right there was like, oh. I'm not rewinding it, by the way.
God. Oh my God.
Now that one was crazy.
To check out the book.
Hold up.
And
okay, I can't even go back to it. Let's watch this after school. After school.
Everybody wants what feels good. Everybody wants to live a carefree, happy, and easy life. To fall in love and have amazing sex and relationships. To look perfect and make money. And to be popular and well-respected and admired and a total baller to the point that people part like the Red Sea when you walk into the room. Everybody would like that. It's easy to like that. If I ask you, what do you want out of life? And you say something like, I want to be happy and have a great family and a job I like. It's so ubiquitous that it doesn't even mean anything. A more important question, a question that perhaps you've never considered before, is what pain do you want in your life? What are you willing to struggle for?
Right.
Because that seems to be a greater determinant of how our lives turn out.
Right.
Everybody wants to have an amazing job and financial independence, but not everybody wants to suffer through 60-hour work weeks, long commutes, and obnoxious paperwork, to navigate arbitrary corporate hierarchies in the blasé confines of an infinite cubicle hell. People want to be rich without the risk, without the sacrifice, without the delayed gratification necessary to accumulate wealth. Everybody wants to have great sex and an awesome relationship, but not everyone is willing to go through the tough conversations, the awkward silences, the hurt feelings, and the emotional psychodrama to get there. They view pain as an objectively negative thing to be avoided at all costs, whereas reality is much more nuanced. But most people don't realize this, and so they settle. They settle and wonder, what if? For years and years, until the question morphs from what if to, was that it? And when the lawyers go home and the alimony check is in the mail, they say, what was that for? If not for their lowered standards and expectations 20 years prior, then what for? Happiness requires struggle. The positive is the side effect of handling the negative. You can only avoid negative experiences for so long before they come roaring back to life. At the core of all human behavior, our needs are more or less similar. Positive experience is easy to handle. It's the negative experience that we all, by definition, struggle with. Therefore, what we get out of life is not determined by the good feelings we desire, but by what bad feelings we're willing and able to sustain. People want an amazing physique, but you don't end up with one unless you legitimately appreciate the pain and physical stress that comes with living inside a gym.
Right. All right, let's get another
Unless
video.
you
in here. How do you fix your sleep schedule? What is wisdom? I want one that's good and short. Why you shouldn't sec? Oh, there you go. There you go, the perfect video too.
Therapy has always been such a scary idea to me because I simply did not know where to get started. I didn't know how to find my...
Hey, school of life.
The business of living can be complicated by a particularly exhausting habit, our tendency to question our judgments with the passage of time. What had originally seemed like a clear-cut and soundly based decision can, after a few weeks or months, come under fresh scrutiny and inspire intense doubt, regret, shame, insomnia, and at points, hurried attempts to reverse a decision. For example, a few months ago, it seemed absolutely right to end our relationship. We had the partner's faults clearly in view,
everything was
and
figured
we were
out.
certain that these made any sensible plans for the future untenable. But now,
Miss you, girl.
we're no longer so sure. We've been on a few dates, and they didn't go too well. We've been by ourselves a lot, and as we've been doing the laundry or walking around the park, we've started to remember how funny and clever, sweet and tender our ex could be. We're wondering whether we should, despite our original recommendation that neither of us should be in touch for a while, perhaps send them a falsely innocent text tonight. Or, last summer, we knew we didn't have a particularly good time at the beachside resort and vowed to stick to a cooler climate next time. But since then, the weather has turned very cold, and just recently, we're finding ourselves curious about returning south next year. Or we told ourselves that we were fully done with a particular career, but we've been reflecting on matters since and happened to bump into an old colleague last week and are now wondering whether we shouldn't maybe make another attempt. Or a friend from university has suggested a meal. We found them rather self-centered and dull when we last saw them a decade ago, but they sounded sparky in their invitation, and we've agreed to meet them for lunch near the station next week. In such instances, it can be useful to keep a broad principle in mind. The further away we stand from the moment when we took a decision, the more our judgment is likely to be clouded and corrupted. And this is because of a feature of our minds that in most areas serves us extremely well: our capacity to let go of pain. The very faculty that means we can effectively mourn the death of a pet or a loved one, or get over a bankruptcy, or endure a drop in income, also means that we're likely to revise our views of an ex we worked very sensibly to reject from our lives, or that we will know within 5 minutes of
You know what, Naya? That's funny that you dropped in here and you said that, because look at this video right here. I hope you in here to hear this, which probably not, but that's funny that you had said that. Stick to that decision. That your ex had caused you that pain. You may miss him, you may think about him, but hey, ain't no going back. We ain't going back there.
An acquaintance that they are as maddening as they ever were. We pick apart and dissolve our judgments because we cannot keep a clear eye on the powerful incentives we come under to do so, because we don't notice how indigestible certain truths have become. We abdicate to doubt under intolerable, irrepressible degrees of loneliness and sadness, isolation and confusion. Of course, we're going to start to question our views of our ex's strengths and weaknesses after 7 weekends substantially on our own, being humiliated on dating apps. Of course, we won't remember our friend's dispiriting character when we would so love to have a flourishing social life. When we wake up and wonder if we've been unfair or hasty, the sternest, most reasonable part of us should know to grab the controls and ask whether a revision to our views is likely to be accurate or simply convenient. Despite all the pressures we're under to believe otherwise, we should place our faith in the wisdom of a well-worn dictum. Trust what you knew then, not what you feel now.
My man, hey, look. By far, we've been on here for 35 minutes. 35 minutes. And that has been the best information I done got. Stick with what you knew then, not how you feel now. Because that feeling change, you go back, you'll feel like you felt before, and then you'll be like, dang, I should have never did this. I should have just trusted what I knew then. All right, let's go. Let's get another one. Let's go one that's fun. Hey, here you go, here you go, here you go.
Life might not be a video game, but it certainly feels like it. So here is the tutorial.
Y'all gonna like this one.
I've been playing Earth video game since I spawned onto the map in 1981. I'm not one of the most experienced players, but I wanted to make a review or a tutorial here for you. I'm also going to share a few tricks on how you can hack the game. Closer to the end of the video, I'm going to share with you how to truly beat the game and get on the leaderboard. So basically, when you start the game Earth, you're dropped straight into the tutorial phase, and the developers call this childhood. And you learn the basics, how to interact, survive, and get by. But the thing is, this tutorial barely scratches the surface of what you'll need to know to play Earth really well and level up your character. In most games, when you choose a character, you get to break down all their strengths and weaknesses so you can plan accordingly. But in Earth, that is not how it works. The deep traits, the strengths, and the flaws that your character are